If you're listening to this or you're watching
Yeah.
this and you've never heard of, or you haven't been a fan of Raheem until he blew up in the conference championship game, that's what, in most people's eyes, that's what happened, right?
Yeah.
But it's not as simple as like, okay, you went through training camp, you got better and better, and then you landed on the Dolphins list and all of a sudden you're an NFL player, right? Because you got cut four times in that 1 year?
Yeah, I got cut 4 times that year. I got cut by the Eagles, then picked up by Dolphins, got cut like a month after that. And then I was about to sign, that's another story. So I was about to sign my practice squad, a contract. I walked into the building and my agent called me. He was like, Raheem, get out of there. Like, you just got picked up by Baltimore. I'm like, what? Like, it was like, I'm walking up the stairs. I just talked to the receptionist, like, oh, where do I need to go to sign my practice squad papers? And she's like, right up those stairs, you'll meet so-and-so. And so walking up the stairs, midway in the stairs, my agent calls me. He's like, hey, you just got picked up by Baltimore. Ozzie Newsome's going to call you. So Ozzie calls me. He's like, hey, Raheem, what's going on? We just want to tell you, man, like, you've been picked up. And it all worked out because we played the Ravens in the preseason with the Eagles, So it was like they saw something that they liked when I was with them. So it goes back to, like, you never know who's watching you too, like, everybody's watching you. Somebody's always watching you. Somebody's always, seeing what you do. They may be on the sideline or they may be in a booth. You never know, but they have their eye on you, and it's a full circle,
It's definitely something. I mean, it happens a lot in baseball because their player movement is crazy compared to the other sports. But even for people who aren't athletes, right? Because there's a lot of people listening here who are not going to be NFL players or MLB players or even coaches in that area. They could be someone who is in the military, someone who is at medical school, someone who is an artist in LA. Like, it could be anything, right?
Yeah.
But I remember Brett Brown, coach of the 76ers, saying this to me after they eventually hired me, I think maybe 5 years after I met Brett Brown. And he said, I remember you coming in 5 years ago. You're better now. But I remember that 5 years ago. And it is something that is common for a lot of guys who might bounce around. You just never know. You never know who's in the room, right?
Yeah, you really never know, because that one person that was in the back corner, just in that meeting room, when you're going over like analytics for some business and you're giving your speech and, you're trying to sell your goods to a person, that one person in the back that's just listening to your presentation might have caught that one spark that you said, or that one thing that was a niche for them that they could use for their company, their business. And once that meeting wraps up, is adjourned, and now you're in contact with that person that didn't say anything, So it's like there's always somebody watching you, especially in the professional world of sports. Little kids watch you all the time. So I mean, there's little kids going to be watching podcasts, little kids going to be listening on what I have to say, and they're going to take it. I get DMs on Instagram and Twitter all the time about, oh, I heard you on this show, that show, on this interview. And, it's an inspiration for me. I can't believe you went through all that stuff just to get to where you're at now. And like I said, I just tell my side of the story now, and I just want people to see what all I went through in my lens, in my eyes. So that way, maybe it'll save somebody, and maybe, it'll just give them that extra encouragement that they need to accomplish something.
It's a brilliant, your story is one of the most fascinating because of that early stuff that you've already shared. And we're not even halfway through your professional journey right now. There's three teams. We'll continue in a second, but you mentioned there that, like, you take pride and you value a lot the fact that young kids, and maybe not even young kids, maybe 30-year-old men or a 20-year-old woman can look at your story and draw inspiration or draw some sort of value from it and help them with their journey. Who was that for you? When we're at, like, Baltimore and then you get cut again, and we'll go into the rest of your story, like, who do you look to when you were really struggling and it just seemed like the world wasn't going to let you do this?
Honestly, truthfully, it was my best friend, my wife. Her being with me, she really, like, encouraged me. She's so, like, her heart is always in the right place, always very detailed about everything. And so, even when I got cut, it was probably by, hey, man. So, okay, we'll finish the story about my first rookie year, and then I'll tell you what happened. So, get with Baltimore, 8 weeks, I'm with them, playing special teams, doing my thing. didn't get cut. You know, they needed an extra roster spot, so they felt like I was the one that needed to be cut. And so I get picked up by Cleveland, and that's where my wife's from. So we're in Cleveland. I played the final 3 games of the season with Cleveland, and then we go into the following off season. I'm with them for training camp and preseason. I make the 53-man roster there, and then I get cut a day later. It was something that was not planned. I thought I did great. I thought I made it again. You know, we got an apartment in Cleveland. You know, my wife's happy, family, relatives, everybody's there. Like I said, she's from there. So.
And you're married at this point?
I was engaged. Yeah.
That's right. We were friends on Facebook, and I remember seeing your thing come up that you got engaged to this girl that we'd spoken about like a year or two before.
I proposed to her when we were in Baltimore. It was the day before Thanksgiving. I proposed to her, so I'll never forget that. But yeah, so I proposed to her, and then I went through that whole roster stuff again with Cleveland. The day I got cut in Cleveland was the same day my wife, my girlfriend at the time, had her bridal shower. And so I called her dad up. I was in the apartment all by myself, just got cut. You know, I didn't even tell her what all happened. I had called my father-in-law, and I talked to him. I said, hey man, look, I'm letting you know right now, like, I'm not going to tell Devin or her mom that I had just got cut from the Browns. So I need you to, like, I'm telling you that I had got cut. So when they get home, you know, I'm going to let her have her day right now because it's a bridal shower, you know, it's a once in a lifetime thing for her. And so I told him, like, you know, this is between you and I need you to just make sure she's happy right now. And then I'll break the news when she gets home. And so she gets home, and I had to break the news to her. She's crying hysteric. I'm crying too because I just can't believe, you know, I done went through all this already. And like I said, I put my heart and soul out there on the field, especially for an organization like the Browns. You know, I couldn't believe it. And then that's when we had that talk, that what you mentioned, that, you know, who was the person that I could look to, even after all those cuts. You know, I talked to her, even dealing with being cut on her bridal shower. We had there was that real talk. You know, I asked her, I said, hey, look, we sat down. I call it a family meeting between her and I and our bulldog, if you want to.
Your first child.
Yeah, my first child. Yeah, bulldog. So yeah. We sat on our couch, and, you know, I asked her, I said, hey, look, I know things haven't been going the way I planned it, and I don't know the next move for me right now. And, you know, I don't know how my career is going to shape out, but do you still see me playing this game? You know, I love it so much. I would do anything for it. And she looked at me and she was like, if you love this game like you say you do, like I know you do, you wouldn't quit. Like, you would keep going no matter what. And she looked at me with, like, it was like all the cry that she had from us being cut. It was just like those tears just completely vanished. And it went in straight into hard shell mode. Like, no, that's not an option. You're doing what you love. Like, you got to be fully vested, fully committed to this. And she told me that, man. And that ever since then, it was just like, you know what? Let's get this going then, because I did have some doubt at the moment, you know, that, like you said,
that was your 4th team you've been cut from in 1 year.
Yeah, so it was like that little doubt that I had. It was just like, man, like, I don't know how this is going to play out for my career. Like, I need to figure this out, or else I'm not going to be what I want to be. Like, I want to be a gold jacket member. I want to hoist the trophy up, you know, win a Super Bowl. I want a ring. Like, I want all that type of stuff.